Good morning, teacher. My name is Alison Murillo, and I'm going to explain the final product. First, I'm going to talk about the process of paper recycling, a specific paper making, and then I'm going to talk about the characteristics or factors of this type of recycling, that is paper recycling. The objective of this proposal is to obtain plant reuse paper. The ability of a paper to perform different activities depends on its basic properties. The most important are paper durability. This is the ability of a paper to fulfill its intended functions during intensive and continuous use. The durability of a paper only goes up to a certain time. A paper can be durable but not permanent. And due to the presence of acid that slowly degrade the cellulose chains. Dimensional stability. The ability of a paper to retain its flat shape when its moisture content change. Permanence. The ability of a paper to retain its color after long periods of time. Paper color may be permanent but not durable. Resilience. The ability of a paper to return to its original shape after being bent or deformed. This property works thanks to the presence of mechanical pulp in the paper manufacturing process. The corteo, the combination of sound and touch produced by a sheet of paper when it is shaken by hand. Okay, we continue with the paper making process. Paper making process requires extracting machines to extract the necessary raw material and producing machines to produce enormous quantities of paper. This must following a series of steps for this process. First, the pulp from the refining goes into the vats, which are stuck stores. Here, agitators keep the pulp in continued movement. Then, the slurry passes through a probabilistic scrubber in a cyclonic scrubber. The scrubber is a cleaning device, therefore its function is to separate impurities. The probabilistic scrubber is in charge of separating small impurities, while the cyclonic scrubber is in charge of large impurities. The pulp then reaches the inlet box where it is transformed into a white. Then this sheet of paper it then reaches the manufacturing table. This contains a rotating metal mesh that drains the pulp in and intertwines the fibers. When it has finished draining, the semi-wet pulp pastes through the wetting elements such as the bacufollis, the suction roller, and the dandy roller. These elements or machines are in charge of absorbing the remaining water, making the paper sheet homogeneous. Finally, the sheet passes through the presses. In the presses, there are the weavers which transport the papers and absorb the remaining water from the sheet of paper when it is being to be pressed. The pressing process has four phases. The first is compression and saturation of the sheet of paper. The second is compression and saturation of the cloth. The third is expansion of the cloth, and the fourth is sheet expansion. Okay, we continue with the manufacturing. In order to manufacture the paper, it is necessary to extract fibers which need to have special characteristics or properties. Among those properties are low cost, high cellulose content, and easy to obtain. The most common material is cellulose pulp. It is extracted from the wood of trees such as pine and eucalyptus. Other materials such as cotton are also used. It is possible to make homemade or handmade recycled paper. It is easy and economical. Below it is the list of materials that this process needed. Okay, materials. First, newspaper turned into small squares. Synthetic glue, blender framed with mosquito netting, water, dyes. This material is optional. Okay, we continue with the preparation. In a blender, place two handfuls of newspaper and one and a half of liters of water. Blend for 30 seconds at high speeds until you can no longer feel the texture of the paper when you touch it. Place the frame into a large bowl, pour the mixture over the frame and stir gently until it is an even layer. Optional if you wish to add color to the mixture, separate a half a cup of a paper pulp in a small container and add the desired colorant if several colors are desired. Prepare it in several separate containers. Carefully add to the mixture deposit in the frame. Press with a blotting cloth to the mixture deposit in the frame, trying to remove as much water as possible. Carefully and while placing the paper pulp layer on a smooth surface, reduce the excess water again with a blotting cloth. Leave to dry in a sunny and ventilated place for approximately 1 day. Okay, we continue with the factors or characteristics of this type of recycling. Paper recycling. Paper recycling means subjecting a used material to a process so that it can be reused. It can also be stated by that recycling is the recovery of waste for the manufacture of new products. Recycling is fundamental to mitigate the impact of making on the environment. In addition to allowing use as the significantly save raw the materials, reduce energy and water costs, as well as reduce waste generation and thereby helping to reduce the pollution of the planet we inhabit. Paper recycling. Paper recycling is the process of recovering paper used to transform it into a new variety of paper products. Paper and cardboard can be recycled, but the percentage of reuse depends on its quality. To achieve this, the paper is shared into three shapes, which are then ground in water to form a pulp. This is filtered and a white mass is left, which is mode taking care not to break it. This sheet of paper is then left to dry. Specialized industries automate the smoothing process with special machines and use chemicals to remove the INK. The three R's of recycling. The environmental organization Green Space made popular the proposal of the three R's. Law they encourage the reduction, reuse, and recycling of the products we consume as principles for the better world. These are the three basic steps to help to conserve the environment. First is reduce. It means avoiding everything that generates unnecessary waste and decreasing, lowering or sharing society rate of consumption. We must stop and think that the process of manufacturing of everything we consume requires natural resources that we cannot waste or spend unnecessarily. Don't buy um, specific phrase of this possible is don't buy products just for the eye-catching packing. The important thing is the content. I think that it is very important to recognize it. The second is reuse. Using something again, either with the function it performed previously or for other purposes. It implies making the most of the things we have or buy. That is, we cannot waste money on natural products on something we are not going to use. This will generate less waste and save raw materials and money in large quantities. For example, we can print only as many times as necessary on both sides of the sheet of paper. This avoiding more trees to be cut down. Yeah. The third is recycling. Subjecting a material to a new process so that it can be reused. It represents using our material over and over again. It only takes a little ingenuity and creativity to reintegrate it into another natural or industrial process and have new products using fewer natural resources. To recycle, we must first select the waste we generate and separate it by origin: paper and cardboard, aluminum, plastic, glass, and organic matter. Again, recycling and education. Knowing how to recycle all waste, respecting the environment, and knowing that what can be done to preserve nature are the teachings and values that modern schools are currently inculcating. In addition, these teachings must be complemented at home. This is so important because only then will future generations grow up with the mentality where it is necessary to fight and do their part to save and conserve the planet they inhabit. And then all that is need is a lot of will, desires, and perseverance. Great example is Peruvian figures have joined these teachings and way of thinking, such as Mario Vargas Llosa, the renowned writer, winner of the uh, 20, 2010 Nobel Prize for the literature. There's the entirely in paper to promote a recycling campaign launched in the city of Lima in 2009. In the living room of his house, decorated both passionately with his sweet and mind of paper, declared himself committed to the cause of recycling, being for him a culture that should be permanent, wrote as part of education of new generation. Vargas Llosa conveyed the population the importance of this of of these campaigns. Signs are in favor of all of us without exception. Preserving the environment in which we live and not sacrificing nature is a way of doing good to these who will success us. Just as it did with Mario Vargas Llosa, the phrase is Reciclame cumple tu papel, a Peruvian organization very committed to the environment, has managed to recruit for it several important Peruvian personalities such as the Minister Antonio Bragg and Susana Baca, the actor Marcos Zunino, the folk singer Dina Paucar, the orchestra group 5, among others. Paper recycling in society. Paper recycling is present all over the world and has different aspects. Among these, we have the social aspect, which relates the function of recycling to the population, on the economics and the organization, how much recycling flavors or harms or economy. Um, Recycling in the economy. Recycling always participates into the economy of a country and can contribute in a positive way, generating more profits to the state and the population, or in the detrimental way, causing a negative economic imbalance. Advantage and disadvantage. The advantage and disadvantage of paper recycling in the economic are closely related to the environmental and social aspects. The advantage. Recycling paper is a significant saving because currently 90% of pulp is made from wood. Paper production accounts for the approximately 35% of trees cut down worldwide. Using recycled papers avoid massive deforestation of forests. Approximately one ton of recycled paper avoids the felling of 17 adult trees, approximately 15 to 17 years old. In the production of normal paper, thousands of tons of water are used, while in the production of recycling paper, only half of the water invested in normal paper is used. This happens because in this production of normal paper, fibers need to be extracted from the trees, which needs to be cleaned as they always come with impurities and splinters. To clean, the scrubbers are needed, which obviously need water. We could also save approximately um, 30 sorry 390 90,000 tons of oil per year, less than a quarter of the environmental pollution would be generated, even taking into account the chemical used to remove the ink from the paper. Recycling half of the paper used on the planet would save 8 million hectares of forest per year, prevent 73 of pollution, and save 60% of the world's energy. Disadvantage. One of the most significant disadvantages is the lack of demand. Many recycled products are being manufactured, but people don't buy them, either because they don't need them or because their country economy is simply not very good. Another disadvantage of paper recycling is the price. Recycled things are more expensive because more work is invested in the elaboration process, and because most of them are handmade. Um, Therefore, no product is exactly the same as the other. They are very similar but not the same. A clear example is China, the largest manufacturer of products in the world, is closing its recycling factories due to lack of demand. Another disadvantage is the use of chemicals for bleaching the pulp in the production of recycled paper, because some of them are pollutants. Um, in addition, low quality recycled papers have been introduced in the market, which has confused people with the intention of buying it. On the other hand, there are rumors that claim the recycled paper cannot be used in photocopiers and printers because it spoils them. Several blogs and websites warn that only quality recycled paper should be used for printers, otherwise the photocopier drum will deteriorate, as the lack of scuffing caused the bad paper to act like sandpaper on the delicate coping surface of the machines. These rumors are totally false because they have no scientific basics. um, Paper recycling in figures. When a recycle culture is put into practice, we help the environment and the economic of the country. To get an idea of how much we help, here are some approximate figures. For every 1 ton of paper that is recycled, um, 1,040 4 440 liters of oil are saved. 26,500 liters of water are saved from contamination, and the felling of 17 mature trees is avoided. Half of the world's forests have been razed by man's hand and by fire to extract wood for paper manufacturing, and the remaining 80% are in terrible condition. Of the 4 million tons of paper used annually in Mexico, only 1.5 million tons are recovered. Compared to used virgin good, the paper resulting from recycling consumes 44% less energy produced than 38% less greenhouse gases, 41 less particulate emissions, 50% less wastewater, 49% less solid waste, and best of all, leaves the forest impact. A city with 50 sorry 500,000 inhabitants generates approximately 9,000 tons of soil waste in one day. Products made of paper occupy 25% of produce and Ecuador landfills. In Ecuador, 16 million hectares of forests are destroyed by man every year, an area longer than half of the Ecuadorian territory. Thanks for watching this video of waste recycling proposal for the Condado neighborhood, and thanks.